Hey guys, we are going to do another 6.1 video today, and the purpose of this video is to practice what you watched in the last one, which is how can I simplify by expansion. So simplifying is kind of interesting when you're doing it by expansion. You take something small, you make it big, and then you make it small again. It's kind of a weird process. And a lot of students, after they watch one or two videos, think they totally have it down. But then they get to their test for their chapter or their unit or some quiz or something like that. And when they go to do it, they make a bunch of mistakes. And that's because every problem looks a little bit different. So the best way to improve upon these is through practice. So here's what we're going to do in this video. I'm going to put different problems up and you're going to hit the pause button and try it. And then you're going to unpause the video and check your solution. Basically, it's going to be a series of you try problems where you're going to test yourself to see if you got this down. And trust me, this is the best way to feel better about these things. So underneath, down in the notes, we're going to do part A. And here is our first question, part A, simplify. And our problem is parentheses, x to the third times 4x squared. So right now, what I want you to do is I want you to hit pause and solve this. Well, simplify it. You're not solving for x, you're just simplifying. And then let's check and see how you did. All right, go. Okay, you ready to check your answer? So remember what we're doing here. We're using expansion. We're going to make it big before it gets small. So when I see parentheses squared, what I really see is parentheses times parentheses. I see x to the third times 4x and x to the third times 4x times each other. Squared means there's two of these identical parentheses. And then to expand this out even more, x to the third I see as x times x times x. And 4x is like times 4 times x. So that's the first parenthesis. Here's the second parenthesis. X to the third would break out into x times x times x times 4x. So let's clean this thing up as much as we can. At this point, everything's being multiplied. There's no adding and subtracting signs. So I see the 4 and the 4. So there's 4 times 4. I see x, 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 three of them, x, x, x. And then there's this x. And then I see three more, x, x, x. And then this one. See, did I get them all? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so 4 times 4 is 16, and we have 8x is x times x times x. 8 times is x to the 8th power. And there is our simplified solution with our expansion work. So this thing is equal to 16x to the 8th power. How'd you do? Did you get the same thing as me? Check your solution, see if you made any mistakes, and if you did, go back and self-correct those mistakes so you don't have to repeat it. All right, let's try another problem. We're going to call this part B. Same directions. We are going to simplify. This time we are going to simplify parentheses. 2w squared squared. 2w squared squared. So right now, again, hit the pause button and see if you can do this. Okay, you ready to check your answer? It's another parenthesis squared. So in my mind, that means I have a parenthesis times a parenthesis if I expand it. And inside is 2w squared and 2w squared. Well, if I break that down, w squared is w times w. So we have 2 times w times w. And if I break this one down, we have the same thing, 2 times w times w. So let's rearrange now that we've expanded, and let's put the 2 times 2 together. And let's put the w together, which makes how many w's all together? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have w to the 4th power, and we have 2 times 2, which is 4. So our simplified solution is 4w to the 4th power. Are you at all wondering why are we doing this? Is that crossing your mind yet? If it is, it's a pretty normal question to be asking yourself. Eventually, we're going to be solving equations and making graphs that involve expressions that are complicated like this. And to do those things, to graph and solve, it helps to know how to simplify it. So we're building up a skill set right now that's going to help us with future problems that we haven't even gotten to yet. So that just kind of answers that question a little bit. So Part C, let's try another one. Here's an interesting one. It's 4 parentheses x squared y to the third power. Again, hit the pause button. Let's see how you do. Okay, you ready to check? We've got a parenthesis to the third power. That means we have 1, 2, 3 of these parentheses. And inside is an x squared y, an x squared y, and an x squared y. What's on the outside is a 4. 4 is not to the third power. It's just sitting out in front. So the 4 is still just sitting out in front like this. But now I'm going to break it down into smaller parts. X squared is x times x, and then times y. X squared is x times x times y. X squared is x times x times y, with a 4 out in front. Okay, so now the 4 is just kind of on its own. It's still out in front. How many x's do we have? I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have x to the 6th power. And how many y's do we have? 1, 2, 3. I see y to the 3rd power. And there's our simplified solution. 4x to the 6th power, y to the 3rd power, which means this thing is mathematically equal to 4x to the 6th power, y to the 3rd power. They're mathematically the same thing. Just this is the simplified version. Okay, so how you doing? You're practicing these problems, pausing the video. Are you getting them correct? I hope you are. Let's try another one. Letter D. Letter D. Simplify this expression. 5m to the 3rd power times m squared. Ooh, okay, hit the pause button. See how you do with this. Ready to check? Okay, so we have another parenthesis to the 3rd power. So we have 1, 2, 3, 3rd power. Inside is a 5m. So we have 5m, 5m, and 5m. On the outside, we have times m squared. That is not part of the 3rd power. It's on its own. But m squared breaks down into m times m. So we have 5m, 5m, and 5n. Well, that's 5 times 5 times 5. There's 3 of them. And then I see 3 m's. M times m times m. So all together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I see, if I combine these, m to the 5th power. And 5 times 5, I know is 25. And 25 times 5 combines to be 125. So our simplified solution is 125 m to the 5th power. And that's it. Again, how did you do? Did you make any mistakes? If you're getting all of these right, that's a really good sign. All right, we're going to do another one. We're going to call it letter E. And for letter E, here is our problem. Simplify x squared times 4x to the 3rd plus x squared. Go ahead and pause and see if you can do this. Good luck. All right, are you ready to check your solution? Let's give this a shot. So what do we have here? Well, we have no parentheses. We have x squared, which we know is x times x. We have 4x to the 3rd, or 4x cubed, which we know is 4 times x times x times x. And then we're adding on x squared. So I'm going to say plus x squared is going to break down into x times x. Now, here's the thing. This is the first problem we've had an addition sign in. And so you have to be pretty dang careful when that shows up because I cannot just throw all these x's together. These ones that are being multiplied, I can definitely clean up. So like the 4, I'm going to put in front. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 x's. X times x times x times x times x. And then over here, I see plus x times x. So I'm going to clean this up more like this. I'm going to say, okay, that's x to the 5th power with a 4 in front. Plus, this is still x squared. And that's the farthest I can go with this problem. I can't add these together. They're not the same. You can't add x to the 5th plus x squared. They don't match up and go together. This is my simplified answer. I'm stuck at that point. So when it comes to the addition and subtraction problems, you have to slow down and kind of be a little bit more careful on how you simplify. You cannot add things together unless they are like terms. Now imagine you had a slightly different problem, which I'm going to call F. And imagine for this problem, I told you we had 3x squared plus x squared, something like this. Okay, This one's slightly different. It's got a parenthesis, squared, which means there's 2 parentheses. And inside is 3x and 3x. And then here's an adding problem. We're still adding x squared. So let's break this down into parts. 3x times 3x is 3 times 3 and x times x. That'd be all this. Plus x squared is x times x. Well, when I clean this up, x times x is x squared. 3 times 3 is 9. X times x is x squared, and we're adding them together. This time we have like terms. 9x squared plus x squared combines to 10x squareds. We can actually put that together. So this thing actually simplified down to one term. But up above, I couldn't add them together because x to the 5th plus x squared, they're not like terms. They don't go together. But these do. X squared plus x squared, 9 of them plus 1 more makes 10 of them, 10x squared. So you can kind of see the difference in that problem. Okay guys, I hope all this practice really helped you out, and I hope you did well. If you made mistakes, this is the time to kind of review those mistakes and learn from them before you have like a test or a quiz on some of this stuff. Thanks guys for watching. See you in the next video.